Well, we haven't done a dash cam in a while, so we're going to be doing one of these today. And I've used one of the MyGEKOGear, which is the dash cam that we're looking at, one of their previous ones, and actually I was very impressed with the quality for price. Today we're looking at their 4K version, so kind of nice to have something that is 4K, because one of the biggest concerns that you and I have when we are picking or choosing or just wanting a dash cam is a camera that we can be sure that will capture the details of events that are happening possibly in front of us for later use. Being able to capture the license plate information or even just small details that may have been missed with a camera that can't capture that level of information. Really excited to try this one. What we're gonna do, quick unboxing, see what comes in the box. Then I'm gonna use this camera today while I head on out, drive to work. And I'll also go out later on tonight to see what the footage looks like when it gets a bit darker. All right, let's crack it open. All right, my friends, so first off, this is the Amazon listing, and this is Amazon Canada, coming in just shy of $300. So it's not a cheap dash cam by any means. This is more of a premium model, but it is one that is going to be utilizing 4K. So we are going to be getting that 3840 by 2160p resolution at 30 frames. It is using the Sony Starvis processor, if that means anything to you guys. To me, I don't know much about the processors, but hey, it sounds almost like Jarvis, so that's kind of cool. Hopefully it's good. And the other really big one for me is the fact that it has GPS in it, which means that it's going to be gathering information about where the camera is located, where the vehicle is located, as well as information like your own speed, which can be useful as long as you're in the right. When someone says, oh no, he was speeding through here and that's why we got in this accident, and you can be like, no, it's recorded right on my dash cam how fast I was going. Now that can possibly use against you if you're in the wrong, but hopefully we're using this because we're in the right. All right, let's crack it open, take a look at what comes in the box. So here's the box, Orbit Ultra High Def 4K, the Orbit 960 dash cam. Nice little front, 2.7 inch LCD screen, built-in Wi-Fi, built-in GPS. So we circle around the box. We have a couple extra things on the back. Again, we're seeing that it's using the Starvis sensor. It's a 140 degree wide angle, so not like action cam wide, but wide enough. Has a G sensor, supports upwards of 512 gig micro SD cards. Has a 320 milliamp battery. Small battery, but big enough for you and I to use it if for whatever reason it comes disconnected from the power source in your car. Motion detection, driver fatigue warning, that's cool. Wide dynamic range, GPS logging, super good one for me. Parking mode, Wi-Fi app control, and a light reminder. So very cool. Let's crack open the box, shall we? All right, what comes in here? I'm gonna pull the box back over here and I'll just kind of throw stuff on the table as we go through this. So number one, we get the camera. We'll look at that in a second. Next, of course, is we're going to get the accessories. So this is going to be the little suction mount that you and I can put on our dash and or our windshield. It does look like it may come with two different mounts, maybe a suction mount and a sticky mount. So if you don't like the suction cup, you want it a little more permanently fixed, you should be able to use that little 3M sticky mount there. I'll probably just use the suction cup because I like to be able to move this camera possibly between our two vehicles. You also get, well, that's kind of nice, you get your little 12 volt adapter for the car. So this is going to be a little 12 volt. It is a single, so just for one device, but comes with it. Very cool. You do get your nice super long cable. So this is going to be USB-A, which unless you have one already, is going to plug into this to give your GPS power. And it does come out to a micro USB. Now, the nice thing is it is a right angle, which should hopefully help this cable survive a little longer because of the fact that it's going to come out of the camera straight down and not have this weird archy bend to it. You also get a little card, which is fantastic. Not all cameras will come with a card. This one gives you a 16 gig card. Not super big, but big enough for you and I to be recording probably our trips to work and things like that. If you're going on a holiday where you're going to have long days of driving, you know, 3, 4, 5, 6, 700 kilometers, maybe more, you may want a bigger one so that it is possibly capturing the full day worth of action, I guess, maybe. But 16 should be good. We get a little manual. Everything's nicely placed in the box. No complaints at all. Let's just see how big the manual physically is in regards to things like fonts, because I think that's important. Yeah, that's decent. Definitely legible. I can read that all right. Where to install, disclaimer, product overview, and it looks like the manual is in, I'm going to say, 2 languages. So it looks like it's in English and in French. So for those of you that are manual readers, there you go. So that's everything in the box. Now I'm just going to put the box down here. Really, we're just going to look at the physical camera before we take this outside. So it does have a little bit of weight to it, which actually is quite nice because you do get a lot of these dash cams and you put them in your hand and you're like, well, that's just a whole bunch of plastic. Oh, that's got some weight. It's not heavy by any means, but in comparison to other dash cams, definitely got a bit of weight to it. It does have a nice kind of textured feel on the camera side of it. And screen size looks like it's a good size without question. Buttons look like easily accessible, all from the screen side of the camera, which means that when this is placed in the car, you and I should have no issues being able to cycle and play around with the menu. USB, of course, is up here, nice and simple, as well as a reset button, power button up here as well. And again, with that right angle cable, this should plug in here and just drop nice down the side. So that should be good. On the bottom, we do not have anything, nor do we have anything on this side, except there's a little tiny dot right here. My guess is that's going to be the microphone. And on this side here is where you and I are going to place our micro SD card. Now, before you get this all mounted, looking all pretty, my recommendation is, hopefully you guys can see that, there is a little tiny piece of plastic sitting on that lens. So we want to make sure that that comes off. Perfect, off it comes. All right. So that's everything kind of in this box. It's a complete kit, right? Mount, card's cool. Little adapter to be able to plug this into your 12 volt in your car. You got your cable, you got your camera, we're good to go. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna go mount this in the car and we're gonna go drive in the daytime, in the nighttime, and you guys will be able to see that. Now, what I'm gonna do is, I don't necessarily need to be talking too much, so I'm gonna go mount this in the car right now and go for a little ride. I'll be right back. All right, guys, so we've got the camera set up. Hopefully you guys can see it here. I've got my little 360 camera going in, which does mean that the audio is not gonna be as good as normal, but I wanted this camera because, for one, it fits, which is kind of important, and two, I can move the shot around if I need to. So a couple things just while I'm starting. You, of course, will be able to see the quality of the footage. This is kind of an overcast day, but a great kind of sample, I guess, of what it could look like. Now, again, I'm going to go out later on tonight to get some more footage when it's dark, because we need to know how this performs when the lights go away. That's kind of important. As well as one of the things that I'll do as well is I'll cut to the dash cam's audio right now. So this is the dash cam's audio, and the dash cam is placed, you guys can see it, just slightly to my right, so that I'm not sure if it's optimum spot for the camera, microphone, sorry, but we should get an idea. And I'm just talking like normal, nothing, not over projecting my voice or anything like that, but it should be good. Setup for the first time, you guys didn't get to see it, but nice and simple. You have to put it in. You are going to basically set up the time. The one thing that it does ask you for outside of just the time is the GMT time. So, you know, are you +8, +6, -2? Basically just look that up online before you start the setup. Here in Ontario, I believe we're -5 GMT, but something easy enough to find online. Just kind of know that it's going to ask that. As far as the settings, the menu seemed very simple to move, like I had seen before or had expected. The right hand side of the screen where there's an up, down, and basically an OK button is going to cycle you through the menu. The little garbage can icon, it looks like, on the left is what kind of gets you into the menu. Be aware though, if you just kind of set this up in your car and plug it in, it'll all turn on, you'll get through that, and if you're not paying attention, what happens is that it's going to actually ask that the SD card be formatted. So you do have to go into the menu, and it's about, I don't know, 2 or 3 pages down where the SD card format option is. So you do have to click that, format the card first, or else it'll record nothing. So unless you do that inside the actual camera, you're going to be running this for days or weeks and get nothing, no recordings at all. So that's never good. We don't want that. But we're pulling up close to somebody here. Let's see how close it is before you guys can see the license plate. Hopefully at this point you can see it nice and clear. I do have, again, the option to change resolutions. I put this at full 4K, so it's at its highest that it physically can be. So that's good, I'm guessing. And again, this is pretty almost optimum conditions for testing, because if it was brighter out, pretty much all cameras work really well. So we're not at great brightness, but if it can perform in here, it should just get better, really. So that should be nice. So I'm actually off to do a small shoot for a client, and I'm gonna come home after this, take a look at this footage, and then what we'll do is, again, I'll go out later on tonight to see what it looks like in the dark, I guess. I think that's just important for you guys. All right, I'm gonna leave you guys there for now. I gotta concentrate on driving because that's important, I think. All right, see you back in the studio. All right, guys, so we are back in the studio and we have the camera. We've gone out and taken some video from it. And first thing that I wanted to show you guys, I'm gonna spin this around. First off, the little suction cup mount actually works surprisingly well. It hooks on there, it's got a nice little lock. It works great, no complaints at all. So what I wanted to show you guys first and foremost, I'm gonna turn this around, and again, this won't have a bunch of power to it. So what I'm gonna do here is plug this into a power brick so it thinks it's plugged into a car. So we'll just plug that in there, plug it in there. This should hopefully turn on like that. There we go, hopefully you guys can see that. So the first thing, again, that you guys are going to want to do is make sure that you format the card. If not, you're going to record nothing. And you'll see in the top, mine is recording, the little dot. Hopefully you guys can see that. It's kind of flicking on and off. That's great, because if it doesn't have a formatted card, if you don't format the card in the camera, it does nothing. So we're going to kind of hit the little just OK button to bring up the settings. And if you hit the garbage can now, we can actually hit this. And this is basically your little settings screen. So you'll have an app download. So if I hit the OK, it'll give you a QR code to where to get that. Trash can goes back. You'll see we have resolution. Tap on that. You can go through all your resolution. I, of course, have mine set at highest possible. Excellent. Loop recording. So do you want it 1 minute, 2 minutes, 5 minutes, whatever? I have mine at 1 minute. I probably should change that to maybe 5. Dynamic range, so I have it set to wide. G sensor, how sensitive do you want it? Screen dormant, so how long before the screen actually turns off? Mine set at 3. Do you want the keytones on, so you'll hear all those? Do you want those? Yes or no? Your volume, of course. Language setup, time setting, video stamp. That's kind of important, I think, for a dash cam. But let's say you and I decided to use this more like an action cam, and we weren't really concerned too much with all that information. You could turn the stamp off if you wanted, so have at her. Driving safety, recording mode, Wi-Fi if you want to actually hook up their app. I didn't do that. I never do. And you format your SD card. So it's kind of at the end there, right? Format warning, 30 days before it actually gets rid of stuff, and reset the whole system. So very cool, nice and easy. I just wanted to make sure you guys saw that. It's a very simple menu system to kind of go through. So nice and easy, just make sure again, you kind of just hit the OK button to get into it. And these kind of cycle through, this kind of enters into it, and this backs out. Not too difficult. And then for me, I just kind of back out of here and we're good to go, back to recording. So we're gonna kind of turn this off now. We don't need this on anymore. Just kind of lay that over here. But the real concern is the footage quality. Now you saw the footage. You saw when I was outside driving, as exciting as that was. But I thought what I would do is bring it in here into Final Cut so you guys can see it. And I'm doing a screen recording. And really the big thing here is, and I'll use this one. So I'll just kind of bring this full screen. You can see how clear that is. Now the nice thing is, because this was recorded in 4K, I can actually take this and we'll just scale, right? We'll scale this clip right in, kind of position it in the center, and you can just see like how clear that image is. There's no problem reading that. You got a province. You could almost read the yours to discover, which is the license plate. And I don't even know if that's an issue with the camera recording or the fact that it looks like that license plate is a little beat up. Now we'll bring in another one just to see it. I'll bring this over here. Same idea. Here's another one, and we're back a fair bit. But again, we'll go full screen. There's no issues reading that at all. I can even read the one over here. And again, what we'll do is we'll just kind of come out of here and do a bit of a scale. So we'll do like a 200, we'll do a 300% scale. So 300% right there. Is that readable? Yeah, without question, no problems. I can come all the way over here. That one's super legible. Student driver, right? I can almost make that one out. No problems reading the license plate with that. That's the bonus of 4K for sure. So I think that's actually, for clarity wise, going to be super nice. No real concerns. I think you should have no problems looking and seeing license plate information. It's just 4K worth of data. It's just 4 times really worth of information that HD is going to give us. So that's fantastic. Now the other nice thing that I did see, and I really did like it, is at the bottom of the screen here. I'll just kind of zoom this back out a little bit. I love at the bottom all that information that it shows you. We have at the very bottom here, without just kind of having my arrow down here, wish it would disappear. No, full screen wants that little thing up there, whatever. But it has my date, has my time, has the device that's recording it, literally has my GPS coordinates, has how fast I'm driving. That's perfect, all laid out at the bottom. It's not in the way, it's not obstructing anything. You and I can see the visual really good. And even because of that wide dynamic range, looking at a shot like this, you can see all that information that it's gathering inside the clouds. Quite good. I think it's part and parcel of that Sony sensor working in there. Now I did have some reflection on the screen, but that's my own fault because I put the camera up on the side a little bit. So it was kind of hitting the front windshield on an angle. Going to cause a reflection, but that's where I put it. I'm going to put up some nighttime driving right here so you guys can see it. So the other thing while the night shot is playing here for you guys is just overall microphone quality. Now the microphone quality, when there wasn't a lot of cabin noise, was actually quite good. But as soon as you started to get more cabin noise, so the car was moving, especially in my little Fiat, it's not a quiet car to start with. It actually has a lot of noise that kind of comes through it. That internal mic started to suffer. It was peaking and cutting out and was just like, I don't like all this sound. But you could really tell when the car kind of stopped, either at a stoplight or a stop sign or anything like that. It had no problems picking up my voice. That's kind of a hit and miss. I don't usually find it overly important to have much sound. All I want to make sure is if a car were to hit, or we were to hit, things like the sound of braking or the sound of tire squealing or anything like that, that kind of needs to be recorded, because one of the issues or one of the things that can play for or against is things like, did you respond? Did you not respond? Were brakes applied? One of the things that they look at is a skid mark on the pavement. I actually got into a car accident probably about 8-9 years ago. Because it was so wet, they had problems finding a skid mark on the actual pavement. Their questioning was, did I even apply the brakes? Which I did, but having a recording, that's gonna play in my favor without question. Even the fact that the recording probably had me saying, holy and then slowly sliding almost sideways into a bus. Yeah, that's what happened. Yeah. Hey, it happens. I get it. Anyways, I do think this is actually one of my favorite little dash cams so far. Love the GPS information. I love how it's placed on the image. I think the video quality is really good. You got really good color. It's not oversaturated or overproduced, especially in regards to a dash cam. And you're getting that 4K resolution. So when we zoomed in on a thing like a license plate, no problems reading it. Super good. All right, my friends, I'm gonna leave you there. Hopefully you got enough information about this camera. I'm gonna put links down below to this one. And if you're interested, hey, use the link. Pick it up. Why not? It helps support the channel. And we appreciate that. Yeah, we do. All right, my friends, I'm gonna leave you there. Orbit 960. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. And we'll see you guys in the next video. Later, my friends.